Hello and welcome to the Necromundown. I'm Joshua and joined as usual by Mitchell.
Mitchell!
But if you know today's episode, you knew that because you are presumably a Psyker here to learn about which psychic powers in Necromunda, or weird powers, we think are the weirdest. We're ranking worst to best,
Worst
right?
to best.
So, just a reminder from last episode. Book of the Outcast introduced 7 psychic disciplines that any Psyker can choose, with some caveats. If you're a Delok Psyker, you have to pick up Delok 1 first.
Yeah.
Some random Psykers generations have to
be
randomly
random from the one in the core rulebook.
from a much smaller table.
Yeah.
But all of those on the smaller table in the core rulebook are on here.
Right.
So there are 7 psychic disciplines, and we put our heads together and ranked them from worst to best in our personal opinions. We haven't talked about this yet, but looking at the difference between Mitchell's and I's list, turns out there's some pretty big differences of personal opinions.
Yeah.
But not on which one is the worst. Mitchell, what is the worst of the 7 Psyker disciplines in Necromunda?
Telekinesis.
Yeah, it's a shame, because moving things with your brain is a really good idea.
It is.
So, just a reminder that all of these disciplines each have 6 psychic powers that you can use. If all of your powers come from only one discipline, which means Delok will never be able to get that,
Really
because
sucks.
they have to pick one from Delok first before they can pick one of these. If all of your powers come from only one discipline, even if you only have one power, you unlock a special bonus from that discipline. In the case of Telekinesis, it's called Fist of Fury, and it gives you... I will be trying very, very hard not to be saying anything important while looking at my phone directly. It will just be here as reference. +1 strength and damage to your melee attacks when you're unarmed.
When unarmed. I tell you what, the first thing I would do with my telekinesis is punch someone a little bit harder.
Right?
It's so bad.
Unarmed attacks in Necromunda are already the worst attack, super niche. Stop trying to make unarmed happen.
So this is basically the Fist of Steel
Yes.
skill. And even that's not that good. If this said +1 strength and damage in melee, significantly better.
Broken.
Yeah.
That would be brokenly
But
powerful.
Unarmed?
No, and even the one thing that this could synergize with, the Orlok legendary name, One Punch.
Yeah.
Specifically, you can't use that because that specifically says you just get, it resolves at a strength 8 damage to attack with no armor save.
That's even worse.
Yeah, so this is bad. But that's not actually why it's bad. What's really bad is the reason why the power's inside.
Yes.
So let's go from our worst. The worst power in the worst tree is, on your mind,
Force Blast.
Force Blast. Force Blast was actually my number 3.
Really?
Yes. But let's talk about it. Now I'm going to read from my phone and commit a faux pas for this right here to make sure you get the right one. Force Blast. This is a basic action, which means you can only do it once per turn. Blah, 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 blah. Any enemy fighters that are within 3 inches of this fighter get immediately pushed D3 plus 1 inches away. So max of 4 inches. That's important. Basically, if you push them off a platform, they pass an initiative test to not fall off. If you push them into a wall, they are pinned and take a strength hit equal to the number of inches rolled for the push distance.
So between 2 and 4.
2 and 4 inches away. So reach out and touch somebody at range to begin with.
Yeah.
You could maybe shove somebody off of a catwalker into a wall.
Yep, that's the best case scenario.
That's the best case scenario.
So you have to pass a test in order to maybe damage someone.
And remember, all of these that are actions, you have to pass a willpower test.
Yep.
So 2d6, meet or beat your willpower.
Right.
Yeah, it's not very good.
No.
So honestly, the problem with telekinesis is that there is one really good power,
Yes.
one pretty good power, and then 4 really bad powers. So what was your number, or your next one up?
My next one up was Hailstorm.
That was my last, was Hailstorm.
Yeah.
Hailstorm is basically everybody within short range of you gets hit by a strength 1, damage 1 attack.
Everybody, including friendlies.
Including friendlies.
Yep, I could see that. It was close for me. Which one was lower?
At least Force Splash could push somebody off a ledge.
Yeah. Well, if it's strength 1, damage 1, honestly, it should be all enemies.
Right. It's always wounding on a 6.
Hitting friendly is always wounding on a 6, unless
they have toughness 1.
Unless they have toughness 1.
In which case
so
you got
bad.
a 4.
Yeah. It's really bad.
It's really bad. I believe that's also it is also a basic. All right, what was your number 4?
I have a tie between Assail and Levitation, but which one was your lowest?
I had Assail as my number 5.
Okay, so let's do Assail.
I actually had Levitation as my second best.
It's not terrible.
It's not terrible. So what does Assail do? Assail is basically a single attack. Let me read it. It is a basic action. Somebody who is 12 inches line of sight, you make a shooting attack against them with their fighter's ballistic skill. Move the target D3 in any direction. If you manage to hit somebody against a wall, so not normally, it doesn't do any damage normally, just moves them 3 inches. If you manage to hit somebody against a wall or another person, you get a strength 3 AP 1 damage attack. No, sorry, AP 0 1 damage attack.
And if you hit someone into somebody else, they both take it.
But strength 3, 0 AP 1 damage?
No. The reason I like it is forced movement for your opponent is very rare in this.
It is. And that's, at least it does that.
Yes.
3 inches isn't a lot, though.
No, it's
But
not.
it can make all the difference in the world.
Or you can like push someone behind cover, or out of cover.
Yeah.
Like I like the versatility of it over the actual damage portion.
And then your number 3 was Levitation?
Levitation.
Levitation. So Levitation is a double action, but it's continuous.
Yes.
And as long as you maintain it, you get to fly.
Yep. You get plus 3 inches, and you can basically just ignore terrain.
And that is why I rated it higher. It's actually my number 2. Because Levitation, flying is great. Plus 3 inches is fantastic.
Yes.
If you double move, that gives you plus 6 inches of movement.
That is true.
That's fantabulous.
It's basically like having sprint then.
Mobility is king in Necromunda, and
That's true.
ability to ignore vertical terrain and 3 inches of movement means you can move really far, really fast. And remember that if you have good willpower, you could maintain this. Obviously, it's a double to cast, but you could maintain this and then maintain it as a free action, and then charge somebody for 11 to 12 inches of movement.
Yeah.
That's really good.
If you're
With
base,
fly.
If you're base speed 5, you go to 8, and then your charges are really good. I will give you that.
Yep.
I don't like that it's a double action because you basically give up an activation
Yes.
in order to gain movement later.
Yes. You're front loading.
Yeah.
You'd have to do this like first activation of the game.
Yep.
And then you'd have to maintain it and not mess up.
Right. So only for the really good willpowers.
Yes. Now that means that your number 2 was Blast?
No, my blast was the worst one. It was
sorry.
Crush. I have Crush at number 2.
You have Crush at number 2.
I do.
So Crush is you reach out at somebody within, let me see, 12 inches and line of sight. You make a ballistic skill roll. If they hit a score, you can remove an obstacle, so you can crush a piece of cover. On an enemy fighter, they have to make a save roll. If they succeed, not fail, if they succeed the save roll, they immediately roll an injury dice.
That's why I like it.
That's incredibly good. That's why it's my number 1.
Yeah.
It's my number 1 because some people were saying this is a typo. It's not. It's meant to counter, you have a 2-up save roll? Roll a 1. You didn't roll a 1?
Yeah. So
Injury.
it is like the Grav in 40K was. I guess it's not that anymore.
It still is a Necromunda, though.
Yeah, it still is a Necromunda. The higher your armor, the worse it is for you. And I like it for that reason in particular. It has, and it's just roll an injury dice.
Yeah.
It's not, they take 1 damage.
It's like Toxin.
Yeah.
Like an Ambot. This hurts Ambots.
Yeah. If they have a 3-up or a 2-up save, you just like, boop.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
It's like Toxin, but even better. And 12 inches is pretty generous.
Yeah.
It is also a basic action.
Yeah. So you can move and use it.
The only downside is that it does require a ballistic skill roll.
That is true.
Now, it doesn't say make a shooting attack. It just says...
So it, rules as written, it does ignore cover.
Right.
There's no negatives to it.
Because it doesn't say it says make a hit roll using the fighter's BS. It doesn't say make a shooting attack.
Right.
Which means it doesn't, you don't have to worry about cover or obscurement or other things that it make,
Cameline cloaks.
Yes.
other psychic powers that
Well,
gives you
some of those
minuses.
do specify the hit roll no matter what. So you got to be
good
careful
point.
with your reading there.
Good point.
And yet, Crush was not your number one. What was your number one?
My number one was Force Field.
Force Field. And what does Force Field do?
It is I believe, a 6-inch aura.
Yeah, a 6-inch bubble, 3 inches aura.
Yeah,
3-inch
okay.
aura.
So it is a 3-inch aura around the caster to give +1 armor,
Yep.
which stacks with every other armor in the game.
And it is continuous,
It is continuous.
and it is a basic action as well.
So the caster and anyone around it. Now, granted, those two are very close for me.
Yeah.
But that one just being +1 armor, especially early game when armor is very scarce, it kind of falls off late game. But even having like carapace armor and undersuit and that just to save all the time
Any
forever.
Space Marine player who has Armor of Contempt knows how much +1 armor at will matters. I don't like it quite as much as Crush, maybe because I'm more of an offensive monkey at heart. But
It's funny because I usually am too.
But I really don't give much stock to the 3-inch bubble because 3 inches is not very far.
That's true.
But it's far enough for group activation.
Yeah.
So you can have a little core of people with, that means that at the start of the campaign where usually you're going to give your best guy on armored undersuit and mesh armor for a 4-up armor save, 3-up armor save.
Yep.
Just got to pass a check.
Pass the test.
Overall, though, I would say that Crush, Levitation, and Force Field are the only ones that are really worth using from this psychic discipline.
Yeah.
That being said, the other ones are fun and not unusable.
Unlike, Hailstorm's pretty bad.
Hey, okay, Hailstorm is by far, I don't know why you didn't rank that the worst. I think Hailstorm is just the worst.
I just think the range of Force Blast only being 3 inches really sucks. At least Hailstorm is a bigger bubble.
Yeah, but
It's
at least
just
Force
bad.
Blast, I mean, you have to get melee, but you can do something there. Hailstorm I could never see using.
Yeah, that's fair.
But, your mileage may vary. So that's the worst, Telekinesis. What is your number, so that's our number 7, or worst. What is your number 6 of disciplines?
My number 6 of discipline is Technomancy.
You wound me,
I know,
sir.
I know I do.
You wound me greatly.
There's really, like,
Justify yourself.
all of them are decent, and then you get Manipulate Door and Crack Lock, both of which are nearly useless.
Better than Hailstorm.
Yeah.
Put that on a t-shirt. So, Technomancy, by the way, is my number 4.
Yeah.
My number 6 was Divination, and that's going to be a problem later.
It will.
So, out of this Technomancy discipline, if you take only tech powers, the tech power you get is to reroll any ammo check.
That is pretty good.
Now, you can't reroll or reroll, so you're not going to just keep rerolling, but that can really save your bacon.
Yep.
Probably not going to save you on a 6-up, but hey, 2d6 is better than 1.
Yeah. We've talked about multiple dice rolls being better than a single good one. Like, if you have a plasma gun, rolling on a 5, it's pretty good.
Now, I do agree that the bottom 2 on the tech discipline are some of the worst powers in the game.
Yep.
That being said, I think they're not as bad as you're saying. But what is your least favorite tech power?
So as a
Number 6.
a peek behind the curtain, I did a not so much a ranking as a score, and I rated Manipulate Door the lowest out of any discipline.
See, I still think that's only because we don't play enough Zone Mortalis.
So there should be a caveat that everything we're saying is depending on your crew, your opponent's crew, the stuff that goes on the board, scenarios you're playing, all that stuff. Basically, what that does, so you can open a door as an action.
Yeah.
This says you can open a door as an action when you're not next to it.
Or close it.
Yes, true. But the door has to already be unlocked. So it's literally going
open or close a single locked or unlocked door.
open a door. It's really very bad.
This is also my least favorite, by the way, Manipulate Door, because it's the most niche.
It is.
In Zone, if you play a lot of Zone Mortalis, so if you're playing a campaign that is set like entirely in a Zone Mortalis, which is, by the way, the super close thing, I think this one's stock goes way up.
It goes a little bit
It goes way up comparatively. It's still not good.
Yeah, doubling its rank from 1 to 2, sure.
yeah, it's, you know.
And I would love the thought of like there's someone behind a door that's here, and then your telekinetic just opens it, and then they just close it again.
Yeah. Well, see, what I love is your opponent walks up to a door, uses an action to open it, and then you just close it again.
That's even funnier.
And you keep doing that to close line of sight. Like every time someone's trying to open a door to shoot at you, they have to waste a group activation because you just keep closing it.
Oh my god, it's so
bad. It's not good. It's
not good.
niche. It's very powerful. It's probably slightly less good than, I'm going to guess, our number 5s.
Crack Lock. What Crack Lock says is you pick a locked door, and it becomes unlocked. And I believe that has a range.
Let me see. Crack Lock has a range of 18 inches.
18 inches.
Which in Zone Mortalis is huge.
It is.
Well, kind of. Remember in Zone Mortalis, all ranges are measured around the walls, never through them for any reason.
Forgot about that. That's stupid. Anyway, so it's a range of 18 inches to unlock a door, which is slightly stronger than opening an unlocked door.
So really, you should get both of these powers.
Or, here's the thing that puts it one step above. You can pick a loot crate on anywhere on the field. That one doesn't have a range. I checked. It automatically opens, and you can pick what's inside.
You can choose to get D6 credits.
No, you can choose to get an ammo crate to stand next to your scarce weapon.
That's why. That's what makes this slightly better. That has pretty good use.
That one is decent. There are 4 abilities in here I would take before that.
You can also just pay like a few credits to bring a frickin' ammo crate.
Yeah, you could. So that's all I'm saying.
It's not good.
The thing I want to do is, because the number 1 on a loot crate is an explosion.
Yeah, what you really want to do is pick a loot crate next to somebody else and make
next
a frag
to an
bomb.
opponent and make it explode.
Yeah. Make your opponent fear the crates. Yeah. That's what you should do with this
You gonna
power.
put your crate out, buddy? I don't wanna.
Oh, your melted gun's out of ammo. You're gonna run into a crate, are you? Are you? Are you? Are you gonna do that? Frag bomb.
Yeah, so that's the reason I put that one slightly higher.
All right. It was also my number 5. What's your number 4?
I have another tie, so what's your number 4?
My 4 is the turn lumens on and off.
Yep, that was in my
because
ranking
it
for
is
number 4.
also niche. This one, if you are properly equipped and your opponent is not, will win you the entire game.
Yep, and that's why it's not dog crap.
What it does is it turns the lights on or off.
Yep.
So pitch black. The only problem is it doesn't work in the Ash Waste, period.
Yep.
You cannot turn visibility on or off with a Technomancy power in the planet. I don't care what the...
That would be so funny, though.
The Nomads get to do that. They have an entire thing for it.
They have magic.
The other problem is that it is completely easily negated by photo goggles, which are already a pretty popular and good pick.
It's true.
But if you have photo goggles, or like if you're Deloc, and you have built-in photo goggles, and your opponent does not, and you're playing with 12-inch visibility, and they're playing with pitch black 3-inch visibility, good night. You
Honestly,
win.
I think even if your opponent has photo goggles, as long as you do, making visibility maximum 12 has its use.
Yeah, there are times and such when that will be good for you. If you're playing like Corpse Chronicles, and you manage to get a Psyker.
Oh my god, that would be very funny.
Yeah. Oh, you have photo goggles. You can see me. Yeah, that's sure. Charge. Yeah, there are times, and the nice thing is that you can keep doing this. You can keep turning the lights on and off.
Yeah.
So you could turn the lights off for one turn, and then next turn you win priority. Turn them back on and shoot people.
Group activate. This guy turns the lights on. This guy shoots.
Yeah.
Easy.
You could also have this power on your team multiple times.
Yeah.
Turn the lights off.
Flick, flick, flick. There's Nosferatu in the SpongeBob episode.
Yeah. That's literally what this is. This is still very niche.
It is.
And very good.
But it's super niche useful.
But very powerful within that niche.
Unlike
Check
manipulate
notes,
door.
everything else. Unlike everything we've talked about so far, except for crush and levitate.
Yeah.
And maybe blast. Or force field. All right. So what was one that was tied with?
I have weapon jinx as my tie.
You're crazy.
I'm not crazy.
You are so wrong.
You had it as number 1. Yeah, you had it.
Wrong. Yeah, Jinx was my number 1.
It's close.
So Weapon Jinx is a, first off, a basic, or a simple action. Right? Yeah, simple. So you can do it twice. Simple action, opponent takes an ammo check. Sorry, I put it within 18 inches.
Yes.
Not visible.
Yes, I understand.
18 inches, which is big in Necromunda, Even a 3-foot board, that's half the distance. Make an ammo check.
So my only problem with this is you are spending one of your actions to maybe... The best case scenario is you're getting rid of scarce.
Yes.
Or limited.
Yes.
But otherwise, the best case scenario, sorry, not the best case scenario, the average scenario is you give up one of your actions and your opponent might lose one of theirs on their turn.
Yeah, I feel like you're underselling how common weapons with bad ammo checks are and how common weapons with scarce are, especially later game when those things ruin your entire life.
Later game, I could definitely see taking.
Yes, this absolutely is much, much less useful early game, although even not. Like, at gang creation, if your opponent has one plasma weapon...
I'm just saying...
Like, oh, your Orlok friend brought a single heavy bolter? That's nice. No, they didn't.
Yeah, but if you're within 18 of the heavy bolter player did something wrong.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, depends on the map and the mission and all this good stuff. 18 inches for heavy bolter is half range, so they want to be there too. The fact that what really carries this for me is that can also win games, but in Necromunda, it is far more common for a really scary, scarce weapon to be dominating the field.
That's true.
My big thing, I think the reason I like this so much is in the Ash Wastes. So many of the anti-vehicle weapons or weapons that vehicles have are scarce.
Right.
Or have bad ammo checks, and the ability to within 18 inches without jeopardizing yourself. If this required visibility, I'd be much less.
It would be less useful.
Also, the fact that it's a simple action, so that if you just need to get, this can get rid of a character. If an opponent is somebody who's carrying a bolter, that's probably their only good weapon.
Probably.
Usually, and this just says you don't have a weapon. And if they pass that 6 and you're desperate, you can just do it again.
I will put it up to my number 2.
Okay, I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just giving mine why I think Weapon Jinx is the best skill is the best power in Technomancy. Yeah. Because it just can completely, I mean, your Vansar friends will kill you, like in real life, if you keep using this on them. Because you can just do this to everybody on their team.
Yeah.
If you can get within 18 inches of their, you have 2 champions with ballistic skill 2 up and plasma cannons. Ooh, scary. No, you don't.
Yeah. One of the things that dropped it down just a little bit for me.
And then you have crack lock, so they go back to the ammo crate and you blow it up.
Oh my god.
That's the combo. That's the winding combo.
The wombo combo.
The wombo combo is make your guys melt a gun, run out, and then blow up the ammo crate. That's actually a really funny idea.
So the thing that brought this down slightly for me
and then you lock the door with them in there.
Yes, it is significantly better in Ash Wastes.
Yes.
If you're not in Ash Wastes, melee gangs are more likely, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
this is nice. One of the things where you can pick this depending on who you're fighting.
Yeah.
If you're playing a gang campaign and you roll up with your you've got, I don't know who would have this, Outcast, I guess that's who you're starting with, right? And you're playing, okay, so Jerry's playing Goliath, and Bob's playing Corpse Grinder Cults, and Jimmy's playing Ogres. Maybe you don't take
that. But if you got Vansar and...
If that guy keeps playing Vansar, you take this power to make him cry.
Yes. That I can agree with.
He will want you...
It goes up better depending on the opponent you're facing.
Which is good design.
I agree. It should not be in a catch-all power.
I like that this does absolutely nothing against the Corpse Grinder cultist coming at you. Most of these don't.
Yeah, true.
All right, so that was your number 3, or 4.
That was my number 3.
Number 3.
My number 4 was Lumens.
Okay, and so what's your number 2?
So my number 2 and my number 1 were also tied.
Okay.
So I'm going to say Hardening.
All right, and I'm going to double check this one. Hardening, basic action continuous effect. While you maintain the power, your fighter improves their saves by 2. Or if gates of 5 up if they don't have one. And while the power is maintained, reduce movement by 1.
Yep.
+2 to your save.
Which again, stacks with any other armor in the game.
Yeah.
And
it's a basic effect, so it only takes 1 action. If you have a good willpower and keep this rolling, if I did this on my Psyker right now, that would be nuts, because I'd be running around with a 2-up armor save.
Yeah. this early in the campaign.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that one. You can easily put it on somebody that doesn't really want to move that far, or has like multiple psychic powers. You want to like walk up the board and snipe people out. And I like it a lot for the +2 armor save. Just being the fact that it stacks with regular armor.
That's very good.
That's the important part for me.
The reason I don't like it as much as Jinx or the other one we're going to talk about is number one, -1 movement sucks.
It does.
Movement is king in Necromunda.
Movement is good for everyone, better for some.
Yes, but going from 5, which is average, to 4 is hurt. It hurts.
Yeah, that's true.
The other one is that it is reduced in efficacy later on in the campaign as people get more and more armor piercing.
I would argue that.
I said reduced in efficacy, not removed.
Sure.
It's always good to get +2 to your save even against a melt-gun.
Yes.
But it's not as good if they're rocking a melt-gun.
Yes.
My other bigger problem is that the effect can be replicated with armor.
It can't, because it stacks with armor.
To a max of 2 up save.
Yes, but other than
Heavy carapace armor with a...
heavy carapace in the front.
In the front, yes.
And an armored undersuit.
Yep.
That is a 2-up save.
Yes, and it's also... heavy carapace armor is what, 130 credits?
Yeah.
So that's 155 credits.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whether 155 credits is worth a skill is up to you. I think it is. This is worth it, by the way.
Yeah, it is
It's
definitely
just
worth it.
not quite as good to me as Jinx or Overcharge.
Sure.
It is very good, though. Like, the gulf between the bottom 3 and the top 3 of this
It's
skill
huge.
might be more than any other discipline.
Yeah.
So what is your number 1?
My number 1 is Overcharge.
Overcharge was my number 2. Because of the drop sides.
Yeah, the downsides are heavy.
So Overcharge, what it does is it's a a double action, I believe. So Overcharge is a basic action. It's a continuous effect. While the power is maintained, one ranged weapon maintained by the fighter improves strength by 2, damage by 1, but gets unstable.
Yes.
Now, strength is all about breakpoints. Like going from strength 2 or strength 4 to strength 6 is absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Because it means you wound guys who have toughness 4 on 3s, and you wound guys with toughness 3s on 2s. Going from strength 6 to strength 7,
Yeah.
doesn't mean a darn. Or going from strength 5 to strength 7 is less useful.
Yeah.
You still get that wounding on 3s. My downside to it is that unstable is really, really rough.
While that is true,
Unstable means you have a chance to blow yourself up, and if you make an ammo roll, whether or not you fail it,
Yeah.
you have to roll a 1-2. On a 1 or 2, you blow up.
Yeah, on a 1 or 2 you blow up. Well, blow up is not necessarily accurate. It's you die.
You go out of action. That's the problem. It's not wounds. You just go out of action.
Yeah. Being a Vansar player, and the one time I played Khador, I had a lot of plasma because I was playing Skaven and they're self-destructive, and that was the theme. It doesn't happen that often.
No, it doesn't.
And I think honestly, I think the +1 damage.
This also, this is also a really good power.
Yes.
Like
It was your number 2.
Yeah. +2 strength is good. +1 damage is astounding, and this all gets way, 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 way better when you combine it with rapid fire, because it's per attack.
Oh, is that the one that says you can't be used with rapid fire? Or am I thinking of it different?
No, you're thinking Zen Shootist.
I'm thinking of the
That's a different one.
Yeah.
No, so this can be combined with rapid fire.
Yeah.
So a bolter is already damage 2.
Or blast.
Yeah, or blast.
Oh my god.
So a bolter is damage 2. Going to damage 2 to 3 is gross.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Hilarious.
Maybe possibly Plasma Cannon, who has an AoE 5.
Going from damage
+2
2
strength
to damage 3. Going from damage 3 to damage 4 if you just feel like ruining somebody's entire life.
Yeah. So even like a grenade launcher, like a grenade launcher AoE 3 damage, strength 3 damage 1 goes to strength 5 damage 2 on everybody underneath it.
Grenade launcher might also be really great because that crack grenade goes from strength 6 damage 2 to strength 8 AP 2 damage 3.
That's nuts.
Die.
Yeah.
That's a melt-a-gun.
Yep.
With worse AP.
And twice the range.
And twice the range. Yeah. Overcharge is really good.
Yeah.
Unstable is really bad.
Yes.
Got to be careful with that.
Don't put it on your 500-point guy.
Right.
Because
you just want to have you can't do like I did and put it on your leader
Yeah.
and just have fun. Ruin lives, or maybe your own.
Wee.
But that's my that's one of my favorite powers as well.
Right.
This is why Technomancy. That's why my Technomancy was number 4, not the second worst discipline. Everything we just talked about, and you say that is the second worst discipline for you. Madman. You see what I work with here? All right. So what is your number 5 discipline?
My number 5 is Chronomancy.
That was my number 3. We just don't agree on anything, do we?
Again, it's the averages that do it for me, because like there's a couple of stinkers in here, and there's a couple of really, really good ones.
Yes. I think Chronomancy is carried largely by its special ability.
Yep.
Because Chronomancy's special ability is once per game, get a third action in your activation.
No limit to what you can do with it.
And
just
story.
you get one.
That
yeah, I ranked that the highest of the abilities.
That is a tier 1 card, like tactics card that normally you'd have to randomly draw a pay for, and you just get it.
Yep.
Okay, so Technomancy. What is the worst Chronomancy. What is the worst Chronomancy power?
Suppress power.
Help! I'm being suppressed. Yeah.
It's within 18 inches. Pick an enemy Psyker,
and they can't use one of the powers. The levels of niche here. Okay, 18 inches invisible. Got it. Enemy has to have a Psyker. That's already really rare. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Enemy has to have a psychic power you want to suppress.
And it not been used yet, or it matter for the game.
And you just don't want to roll deny the witch.
It's really, really bad.
It's really bad. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Mirror Image.
We are still drift compatible. Mirror Image just says you get a -1 to be hit.
Yep.
And you don't provoke reaction attacks.
Which is fine.
It's fine. It's a basic action. It's not. Oh, the reason why this is our number 5.
This is not continuous.
It's not continuous. It only lasts
until your next turn.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
And it's just all hit rolls. So that, for example, would count against.
That's true.
It just all hit rolls are -1 to hit, including melee.
Yeah.
That's not bad. But it's
kind of bad.
But it takes a basic action.
If it was continuous, it would be way higher on my list.
It's the equivalent of taking cover.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, until the end of the round, I'm 1 harder to hit. And also I can peace out.
Yep. It's fine.
What's your number 4?
Lucky Aura.
That was also my number 4, although I kind of forgot to write it there.
Yep.
Lucky Aura says that until the end of the activation, you get to reroll 1 dice. Am I reading that right? No, sorry. While this power is activated, it's a continuous. Once per round, you may force an enemy fighter to reroll 1 successful ballistics or weapon skill attack. If you're the target, which means the blast does not work.
Yep. The reason I didn't like it is because you go, reroll against me, and they're like, okay, I won't shoot you.
I mean, no, they still have to. They can't choose to shoot somebody else. They have to reroll.
No, it says if they're the target.
Oh, if they're the target. Yeah. So if you have this power up, it makes you a much less desirable target.
Yeah, for one guy, right?
For one guy.
Within 18 inches.
Which could be. No. You don't pick a guy. You pick. It's on you.
Okay.
It's while you have this power activated. Once per round, you can force someone to make a reroll to hit you.
That's still really bad.
It's still not great.
Yeah.
It's slightly better than Mirror Image, though.
It is slightly better
If
than
it was
Mirror
pick
Image.
an enemy, it'd be the worst. But
Yes.
it basically makes one person harder to hit. Kind of. But, like, it doesn't affect, this is really bad against melee because melee has multiple attacks.
I see we're no longer drift compatible.
Okay, so what is your number 3?
Freeze time.
Really? I will say that my top 3 here were contentious.
Yeah.
So what freeze time does is it's a double. Everybody within a 12-inch radius, not diameter, so that's a 24-inch bubble, when this goes off, can only take 1 action instead of 2 for the entire turn. That can make or break games.
Yeah, that could make or break your game.
That's the problem, is it's everybody, including your own guys.
Yep.
So you kind of have to forward deploy your Psyker. But if you can catch a lot of people in this...
I mean, yes. You're right.
And that's why this was my number 1. I think I rated this number 1 for its potential. if not its usability.
It's a double action.
Yes.
You have to be within 12 of your opponent. You have to not be within 12 of a friendly.
Or not within 12 of a friendly you care about.
You have to upkeep it and survive.
You don't have to upkeep it. You just have to make it go off.
Continuous.
Yeah. No, it's not continuous. You just
It's
make
not continuous?
No.
That's actually worse.
No, because if it was continuous, that'd be worse. Like, it'd be more punishing.
I really, really don't like it.
I think it is so possibly powerful that it deserves a mention. But it's your number 3.
It's my number 3.
This could very easily be my number 3. Yeah, it's just, like, you could really ruin people's days with this. Because that means no charges.
Yeah, you're right. But that also means no charges for you, no
charges,
aiming.
no aiming, no unwieldy weapons. Yeah, that's the thing, is it both ways. The reason why I think this is so good is that you can stack it with the once per game extra action to move
To get
up.
2 actions. I
No,
know what you mean.
to move up and then bomb them.
I really don't like it. I really don't like it.
It's also not visibility, so you can just be in cover and just say -1. Yeah, I don't know if it is the best one, but it's really good, I think.
The potential, if we're ranking these on the like maximum potential that it could be,
Sure.
a lot of these would be higher for me.
Yeah,
that's not
fair.
what I'm banking.
That's
it on.
fair. I think even without the maximum potential, that the threat of this is enough to like force games and stuff like that.
A 24-inch bubble.
It's so big.
It's so big,
That's what I love about it.
which is why it has to say friendly too.
Yes.
But if it, I just really don't like that it says friendly.
Yeah, that is hard. I think that you can mitigate it though and play around it, and your opponent can't.
Yes, they can. They kill him.
They have to see him. They have to get there. Anyway, what was your number 2?
Walk through walls.
Walk through walls.
I'll tell you what'll get you there. Walking through walls.
Yeah, 8-inch teleport.
Yeah.
The reason I had this lower is because it's double action.
It is a double action. I didn't rank it too much higher.
By the way, remember that because of, we already talked about this, the way Zone Mortalis works, you always measure around. Yeah. You actually can't teleport through walls.
Yep.
Anyway, it's an 8-inch teleport, which also means it ignores vertical distance.
Yep.
It's very good.
It is. It's absolutely nuts that they just said, because they could have easily just said, you ignore terrain. But no, they're just like, teleport, go for it. It is a double action, and it is only 8 inches. So
this also has amazing synergy with the extra action per game.
Yes, that is true.
Teleport.
Yeah.
So that means your number 1 was?
Zen Shootist.
Zen Shootist is very good.
It's very strong.
Zen Shootist is what I have on my current Chronomancer.
What Zen Shootist says is not rapid fire, not blast.
Right.
You get a 2-up ballistic skill. Doesn't matter what it was before. You could have been a 6. You're at a 2 now.
Single action, by the way.
Single action. Continuous. Ignore cover.
2-up ballistic skill, ignore cover.
And it's not reduce cover by 1. It is ignore cover.
Ignore cover while you have a 2-up ballistic skill.
So you're hitting on a 2 unless your opponent has some shenanigans.
I guess specifically it says ignore negative hit modifiers due to cover. There are other things that cover does.
That's true.
That could happen. But it basically means, hi, I shoot you on 2s.
Yep. Period.
End of story.
Very, very strong.
Vansar can replicate this with having a champion and then an Infrasight. That's very true. But you can do it for free.
Even then, an Infrasight doesn't completely ignore cover. It reduces cover by 1.
Yeah.
So hard cover would still be a -1.
Sorry, let me say aiming Infrasight for 2-up.
Just have a -1-up save.
Yeah.
Or -1-up, yes.
The other nice thing is that because this is a continuous action, if you have a good willpower, you can activate this and then just have it the rest of the game. You can still aim and shoot if somebody has other negative modifiers.
Yep.
Chameleon, which gives -2 to hit. If you have this on there and you aim, you're still hitting them on 3.
Yeah. It's really strong.
It's really good. I know I had ranked Freeze Time as my highest, but I think
you said they were very close.
I could very easily go with your ranking. I'll call us drift compatible still.
I went freeze time a bit less.
All right.
Oh, it's two.
So now we go to, we're halfway up the list now.
Pyromancy.
Pyromancy for you. So this Pyromancy is your number 4.
Pyromancy is my number 4.
Pyromancy I ranked slightly less than Technomancy.
Yeah.
So justify why Pyromancy is better than Technomancy, please.
It's really kind of not. Like,
well, I'm glad we got that out of the way.
they're very close. So
where did I put Pyromancy?
Actually, they're not. They're not very close, stats-wise. Basically, all of the, rather than Technomancy, where a couple of the abilities were like, why would I ever even bother with this?
And the other ones were really good.
And then, but Pyromancy, like all of them are fine.
I had trouble ranking Pyromancy internally because they're all pretty good.
My only problem with Pyromancy is they're all basically just like a weapon.
It's one note. It's very
every single one of them, other than I believe both of our number ones.
Yeah. It's one note, and it's that note is fire.
Yeah.
Also, the special isn't very good.
The special's bad.
The special just makes you immune to blaze.
Which
not the blaze. It doesn't make you immune to blaze weapons. It just makes you immune to blaze.
To the blaze trait, so you don't get lit on fire.
No, if you want to be immune to blaze weapons, you have to use one of the powers.
Yeah.
Which is Body of Flame, which is my last one. But what's your last one?
It is also my last one.
Yeah, Body of Flame just makes you immune to... Body of Flame, it's a continuous effect. You just ignore hits from Blaze or Melta.
Yep.
And if someone stops within an inch of you, they light on fire. Or they might.
They might light on fire.
To be fair, I will give it this, and this is one of the reasons why maybe Pyromancy is better than Technomancy. Even the worst skill, if your opponent is a multi-wielding Bansar Maniac, you ruin their entire life with this.
Or Khador spamming flamers.
Yeah, you just T-pose your way towards them as you are immune. Yeah, walk to the Brody quest. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
So it put it up slightly for me. I ranked it. I did it as a 5 instead, and the thing that did was a 5 instead of a 4 is because you ignore Melta.
Yeah.
And Melta is terrifying.
Scary. Very scary. Still not great.
Still not great.
So what's your number 5?
I have the Scouring.
Drift compatible.
Yep.
Scouring is a hand flamer, but worse.
Yep.
It's a strength 2 hand flamer.
It is a strength 2 hand flamer. The reason that it's slightly better for me than Body of Flame is that it is basically worth 75 credits.
Yeah.
Because that's what a hand flamer is.
No, it's not. No, hand flamer is better.
Hand flamer is better. It's +1 strength.
Yeah, hand flamers are strength. Well, that's a big deal when it's 2 to 3. That's a really big +1.
2 to 3 is a really big +1, but I'm not doing it to wound. I'm doing it for the fire.
Right. Yeah, this is very true.
I don't want to use a hand flamer to wound. I want to use it for the fire.
This is true. That being said, I really think the Scouring's pretty bad.
Scouring is bad.
Yeah.
It's just not.
It is continuous though, so you can activate it at the start of the game and then just have a flamethrower.
Yeah, just whenever you want, you have a flamethrower.
A bad flamethrower, as long as you can keep the effect up.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
One of the things I like about the powers that let you have a weapon is it's basically a 4th weapon slot.
Yes.
Which is strong.
Yes. And now that it no longer costs an action to maintain effects.
This was the worst power in the game when you had to use an action.
No, there's another one that was the worst power in the game when you had to use an action.
What is it?
The one I think we're going to talk about next.
Is it Stoke Flames?
Yeah. Is Stoked Flames your number 3?
Yes.
Oh, no, sorry, no. It's is your number 4?
Yeah.
No, the one that was my number, the one I'm talking about is the one that makes your weapons on fire.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty bad.
So, but is your number 4 Stoked Flames?
Yes.
So Stoked Flames is a great idea. It basically picks someone who's on fire within 18 inches in line of sight and make a 5-inch blast flame template go off on them.
Which is...
The only problem is they already got to be on fire.
Yeah. So it's... You basically have a fire that's already set, and you make it bigger.
You've set someone on fire.
It sounds awesome.
You set someone on fire. They probably ran away from you on flames. They didn't go out, and then you make them explode.
Again, this is basically a piece of equipment. It's a really long-range incendiary grenade.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
If you are playing Khador, and somehow using Psykers, but if you're playing on a team that already has somebody else to start the fire, if you're not Billy Joel, you're fine. Like, if you have a way to set this up to reliably set up wombo combos of you're on fire and then I'm going to make you explode in 5 inches, you can ruin people's day with this. Especially with the unpredictability of somebody running around with fire. But otherwise, it's not great.
It's a little rough.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, a lot of these set people on fire, so you could set someone on fire and then make them explode.
The problem is that you start out with one of these and you need 9 experience to get another.
That is true. That is true.
But there are long-range weapons which set people on fire. You can also get incendiary ammo.
True.
Or chuck a frag grenade at long range. Or a fire grenade. Yeah. So my number 3 was Flame Blast. What was yours?
Also Flame Blast.
Drift compatible.
Nice.
I
think we are 1 for 1 in this.
Flame Blast, while this weird power is maintained, one weapon with the melee or versatile trait gets the blaze trait. When maintaining a power costs an action, this was the worst power in the game because
you
you could not use it the same turn you charged.
That was very bad.
Nowadays, it's fine.
It's okay. This one is one of the ones that's can be randomly chosen.
Blaze is a lot worse on a melee weapon.
It is way worse than a melee weapon.
Because now you're immune to it if
Yeah.
you've got this power. But like hitting someone on fire and then them not being on fire, like setting them on fire, and if you don't down them and they run away from you, that kind of sucks actually.
Yeah,
I
you're
played
kinda
that in Fallout, you know. Just get back at
I'm not saying that one's good. I'm saying it's better than some of the other ones.
Yes, I think it's more usable than Stoke, Scouring, or
Yeah.
Body. Number 2,
I have Molten Bolt.
Molten Blast or Molten Bolt. Sorry, that's mine.
Yep.
Same. So I guess we are fully drift compatible on.
We were.
Pyromancy.
So I had a few ties in here, but it was pretty close.
Molten Bolt is a multi-shot.
Yep.
Yeah.
The downside with it is it's only a 6-inch melt shot.
6 inches, which means that to get the Melta trait off, you have to be within 3.
That is rough.
And you have to make a shooting attack with your ballistic skill. And not most of the Psykers aren't great shooters.
It depends.
But Melta is terrifying.
Yep. Melt is scary. It's the reason I like this one is it's a slightly nerfed 120 credit weapon.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
135.
135?
Yeah,
Oh,
believe me, I know. I've been trying to save it for Melta yet. The other nice thing is it does not say you cannot be engaged.
Ooh. Oh no.
It just says target a single enemy fighter that is both within 6 inches and line of sight of this fighter and make a hit roll using the fighter's BS.
So give them all of the armor you can possibly do and run them directly forward. And then when they charge you, you go, Melta.
You don't have a gun? I need no gun.
Melta.
Manhattan. Dweem. Right. That's terrifying.
Yeah. I didn't even think about
Even
not
without the
being
Melta
engaged.
trait, though, strength 8, AP 3 damage. Is it AP 3? Yeah, AP 3, damage 3.
Yeah, that's insane.
Ow. And then number 1, Wall of Flame.
Wall of Flame.
It's an incendiary charge that you can just keep up.
Yep.
You pick a point, it doesn't scatter.
Nope.
5-inch flame template.
5-inch pie plate that says if you start or end in it, you get hit with a strength 3.
Strength 3, AP 0, AP 1, actually, and damage 1 attack with Blaze.
With Blaze. So, crowd control.
12-inch range, by the way.
Yep, 12-inch range. For crowd control, for manipulating your opponent's movement, like you put it in like over top of your relic. And you're just like, if you want to get to it, try and be on fire.
Or come kill my guy.
Yep.
And you don't have to maintain the range to maintain the power.
Right.
Also, like you want to talk about something that's gross in Zone Mortalis.
Oh God. It's like this whole category. This whole God. What's
Tile?
Well, yeah, basically.
Hallway
Yeah, hallway. This whole hallway.
on fire.
Walk through it at your own risk.
Oh, you have a hazmat suit? Well, crap. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Pyromancy is that all of this is negated by a hazmat suit.
Yeah, by a 10 credit armor.
So if you start ruining people's day with this, like it's easy to counter.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's why I ranked it.
Lower.
This is a more consistent power set than Technomancy.
Yes.
But Technomancy has better powers.
Yes.
But also way worse powers.
I will agree.
So I can see why you ranked it higher. To me, this is still slightly worse than Technomancy. All right, we're coming up in the upper end. Your number 3. My number 3 was Chronomancy.
And my number 3 is Biomancy.
All right. I don't know how you picked either. I don't know how you picked Pyromancy to be better than Chronomancy. I gotta say, I just don't know how. Because Chronomancy also has so way better. But Biomancy was my number 2. My number 3 was Chronomancy. So Biomancy is all about healing.
Well,
Kind of.
no. Biomancy is about changing the makeup of friendlies or enemies.
Yeah, it's Hippocratic Oath without the do no harm part.
Yeah.
Biomancy's special power, when you make a recovery test, roll 2 injury dice, pick 1.
Which is, it's basically like being like
It's
helped.
it's True Grit.
Yeah, it's True Grit.
But slightly worse because you have to already be down.
Yeah. I didn't rank that one very high.
No, it's not a very good power. It can save your, it's nice to have.
Yeah.
But it's not great.
Yeah.
So what's the worst Biomancy power?
Iron Arm.
I admit my 5 and 6 were really, really close.
Yeah.
I think I would actually go with you and say that the Iron Arm is the worst. It's a basic, it's a continuous effect. While this is maintained, you get a special 5-up invulnerable save against close combat attacks.
If that didn't say close combat attacks, that thing would have been...
Here's the reason I think it's better than the other one we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
It gets to be made after saves for armor. It's in addition to normal armor saves.
It's in addition to armor.
It's in addition to normal armor saves.
That's
and
fair.
Can't be modified. So your opponent has a bone sword with AP 2. It's like, oh, okay, I failed my 4-up save. It's an after save.
That's fair. I did not realize it was an after save. I would probably put it a little higher then.
That's why it was higher for me.
Yeah.
So what was your number 5?
Arachnosis.
Arachnosis means you get to climb and clamber.
Climb, clamber, and jump. You get 3 skills.
You get all
for
the
price of
skills that
one.
make those better.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's movement.
It's movement.
Movement's king.
It is. It is.
The problem is that type of movement, going up or down or leaping, it's very specific.
Yes.
Eh.
It's a continuous effect. It's not bad.
You turn to a spider.
What was your number 4?
My number 4 is actually a tie, so we're going to go with whatever yours is. Chameleon.
Chameleon. Chameleon just says it's a continuous effect, basic. If you don't move, you get a -2 to your hit roll against anybody shooting at you.
Against the chameleon target.
It's the same thing as the Cameline Cloak.
Yeah.
And that can be brutal.
It can. The Cameline Cloak is, what, 30 credits?
35.
35? So you can buy that. You can also stack it. So, God, you stand still and you're -4 to be hit. Plus cover. How's that +2 to hit now?
Ruined.
So, yeah, it can be very, very strong, especially on like long range guys that don't want to move very much. Just going to stand there and shoot every turn, upkeep your power, aim, shoot, done.
It doesn't synergize well with the other Biomancy powers.
It does not.
But it is good by itself.
It is.
So you're number 3.
My number 3 then would be the Quickening.
Highlander joke goes here, right? Like I was trying to think of a Highlander joke. Highlander is one of those movies that's not actually very good.
No.
It's actually a really bad movie, just with some really fun moments. There can be only one. The Quickening. This was my highest ranked.
Yeah.
So it's a basic continuous effect.
I think you're crazy. The other two are insane.
You get +3 to movement, and your weapons, ballistic skill, and initiative all go up by 1.
It is very, very good.
That is the dream for a melee person.
Yes.
Hi, I have weapon skill +1 and 3-inch movement. Woo!
Yeah.
The only thing is it does not synergize with the 2-up weapon skill that you might already have.
Yeah.
Or a +1 to hit that you might already have, which
Yeah.
a lot of melee weapons do. And a lot of good melee people already start at 3s. So that point might be wasted.
Now, to be fair, you could do something like take something with a -to hit and use this to negate that, which can be very strong.
While giving you +3 inches of movement. Yeah. I really, really like 3 inches of extra movement.
I completely agree.
It's very good.
Yep.
That being said, the other 2 are also very good. So what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Cause Pain.
Cause Pain. Cause Pain, you pick someone you can see within 18 inches.
That already has a flesh wound.
That is a very specific.
Has taken damage or a flesh wound.
Has taken damage or a flesh wound. So they've got 1 wound or out of 2, or they've taken a flesh wound. And you just give them another injury dice.
Yep.
Or just give them is it give another injury dice or another flesh wound? No, you just give them another injury dice.
Yep.
This is a chance to take somebody who has a flesh wound on them and just kill them.
Yep. It is ridiculously strong because they can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Unlike the other one where it's like, oh, take an armor save, and if you blah, 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 like, you're just like, no, just you. I
die.
I passed my test, roll an injury dice.
Yeah.
The worst thing that can possibly happen is they lose a toughness.
Yeah. They get another flesh wound.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah.
So what was your number 1 then?
Stop bleeding.
Number 1 is Stop Bleeding, which is you take a friendly.
That has a flesh wound on him.
And they don't have a flesh wound anymore.
They remove all of their flesh wounds.
Yeah.
That's the stupid part.
That's it, better than any other healing skill in the entire game.
Yep.
And the range is... Stop bleeding. Oh, this is why it's good. 18 inches in line of sight.
Yeah.
It's... Did you ever play the Final Fantasy game where you can just chuck potions at someone's head from across the room to heal them? It's basically that.
Yeah. 18 inches.
You're beating someone with a med kit from across the room.
That has the chance to go, oh, that guy is seriously injured on 2 flesh wounds. He's about to die. Nope, he's fine.
You know when this is really good? You have an ambot.
Oh my god. That is gross.
This is you playing MMO healer.
Yeah.
You're at the back of the room going wham, 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 wham.
Yeah. The ability to remove all flesh wounds, it's not, oh god, it's just so...
Obviously, this one's usefulness stacks depending on if you have tougher characters. This
Right.
works better for tougher characters.
Right.
Less good when your opponents, if you're playing Hive Scum like me, and your guys can just get murdered one by one.
Yeah, who
like
cares?
and they're never going to survive.
Like this one would be, I'm playing GSC right now. This one would be great as a GSC.
On
Magus.
Abominants?
Yeah, because your Abominants down. You're just
or
like,
Aberrants, sorry. Yeah.
yeah, it's whatever. You just heal them back to full. They're fine.
Yeah.
So good.
Now, the only downside is it doesn't work on seriously injured.
It does not work on seriously injured.
So,
But now that seriously injured, extra seriously injured procs, extra flesh wounds.
This has even more utility than it did because there are more flesh wounds running around.
Yep.
So yeah, I do agree. Like I had that as my number 2 behind the quickening because I think the quickening is just always good.
Yeah, that's true. Quickening is always good.
But I get one. All right. So what was your number 2 discipline?
My number 2 was telepathy.
The best discipline in the game. I don't know how you didn't pick this your number 1. You are a madman, an ungentleman, and an unscholar.
Wow.
Or something. I don't know. Telepathy. This was my number 1. Spoilers. What is, out of all of these, though, what is the worst one? I think there is one clear worst one,
Yeah,
though.
Unbreakable Will. We have the same one.
Unbreakable Will. It's a basic continuous effect.
Oh, we need to do the aura first.
It's, sorry, you're, if you have all telepathy powers, you have Fearful. So
Yep.
that means if someone tries to charge you, they have to pass a willpower check or they can't. And
It
they
is-
lose their actions.
Yes, it is the terrifying ability.
Yes, terrifying, sorry. That's not bad.
It's not bad.
That can ruin some people's day.
Yeah.
If you're playing against Goliath or Ogrins, they just don't get to charge you.
They just like,
Don't like that guy.
you know, like,
Oh,
something
no.
about him.
Not gonna go near him. Shoot you in the face.
Yeah.
Unbreakable Will, however, is not a good power because all it does is that whenever a friendly fighter takes a nerve test or makes a willpower check within 9 inches of you, whilst within 9 inches.
Whilst.
Pretentious. They may use this fighter's cool or willpower characteristic of their own. Okay, so like if it's a nerve test, you just pass yours first.
Yeah.
This is not useless.
It's not useless. It's just bad.
The problem is it's competing with everything else on the telepathy.
So
board.
here's my problem: is it specifically says a nerve test.
Yeah, or
If it nerve test or leadership.
Yes.
Leadership is very rare.
Nerve test or makes a willpower check.
Makes a willpower check. Okay. Willpower check, other than Psyker's, pretty rare. If it said willpower or cool check, way better. Because
Yes.
cool checks are everywhere.
Yeah.
Nerve test is specifically when you flee when someone is seriously injured or killed within 3 inches of you.
Or if somebody uses Terrifying, which we're about to talk about.
Right.
You know when this is top tier? You're playing Delock and you are going all Psyker. Because remember how those Psykers in Delock have bad willpower?
Yep.
No,
Now
they don't.
Your leader's like, how about a 4-up willpower?
Pew pew. Yeah. So anyway,
That's true. That is pretty good.
So anyway, I started psyching. Right. That's a niche case, but it is there.
Yeah.
Number 5.
I'm going to break my tie with yours, invisibility.
This was pretty close. So invisibility, it is a double action but continuous. Basically, you cannot be targeted by ranged attacks as long as you only make move or maintain control actions.
So you can go, it's a double action, which is a little rough.
Yes.
But the ability to not be shot at all until you do something.
Yes. Basically, as soon as you take any kind of action that is besides just moving or maintaining the control,
Yeah.
You lose invisibility. That is still pretty good.
It definitely has its uses.
Yeah. Like, you could just get into a better spot. You know, or get close. Walk up the field.
Yep.
Now, of course, this does not help you against template or blast weapons.
Nope, because they don't have to target you.
Yeah.
It also doesn't help against melee, so don't get too close.
Yeah, someone can still charge you.
It's like, I'm going to run directly at you with my invisible guy. All right, renderizer.
You're number 4.
My number 4 then was mind control.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, I don't get that at all. Mind control was my number 3.
So
or number 2.
it has a what mind control says is you pick an enemy within 9 inches. They make a ranged attack that can target anyone you want. So the only reason is if you have to get within 9, and if the enemy doesn't have a ranged weapon, it doesn't do anything at all.
Yep.
And lastly,
Because the enemy can make a shoot basic action.
Yes.
Yes.
So the downside is you have to take into thought line of sight.
Yes. 9 inches is short, line of sight.
So normally at the beginning of an activation, you can freely turn whichever direction you want. So you can aim and shoot, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But if your targeting an opponent with this, you don't get to turn. So if they can't see a friendly to their side, you just can't do anything with
Right.
it. I have noticed this downside in my playing this power.
I see.
So I have, it has its uses. It can be very strong, but when it's not, it does literally nothing.
Right. Yeah, this can really ruin your opponent's day, but they have to have a good weapon and they have to be close.
Yep.
But yeah, I ranked it a little higher with my number 2 because I still think it's better than Assault or Visibility or Terrify.
Sure.
So does that mean that your number 3 was Terrify?
My number 3 is Terrify.
So Terrify just makes them take a nerve test with a -3 malice.
Yes.
There's a very good chance you will just break somebody. And if they have a bad cool, they might not ever get unbroken.
Right.
The downside is that if they're nearby a good friendly, you can just use Gang Hierarchy to bring them back.
You can use Gang Hierarchy to bring them back. The reason that I rank this higher than Mind Control is because when you break, you activate immediately.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
So it is with a test. To be fair, you can just go that champion, his ready marker's gone.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's all that needs to happen for that ability to be.
I didn't think about that. Removing somebody's ready marker, as we'll talk about, is very, very
and
very
run
good.
away.
Yeah.
If you're up against Ogren and you got a guy with a freaking power maul running at you, you're like, how about you go that way?
How about you? I'm gonna give you $20 to leave me alone.
And then they run away, and then they have to go like, hey, come on, guys, come back.
Help me come back.
Or else he's running again.
This is also this is very good or bad against certain gangs.
Yes.
Goliath is not very good against it because they have amazing cools of 6.
They do.
Like, they're just going to go, hey, wait a minute, I was skipping.
Yeah, well, then that's where the -3 on the initial test comes into play.
Like, this is still good at initially breaking them.
Yeah.
But
It'll be worse the next turn when they have a chance to come back. Now, to be fair, when you succeed a rally test, you get an experience.
yeah, so this is a way for your opponent to farm experience points.
You're just like, run away. Okay, I'll come back. Get an experience. Run away again.
Yeah. Leave or don't.
Yeah.
Bring me my brown pants. All right, so what was your number 2?
I had Mental Assault.
Yeah, so Mental Assault. Choose a single enemy fighter that is both within 12 inches and line of sight. There's a bunch of stupid text here, but it basically means if you pass a willpower check, and even if they do as well, like the only reason it makes your opponent take a willpower check, but that doesn't mean anything.
It kind of does. So it's your opponent takes a willpower test.
Yeah.
If you both pass or if you fail,
Yeah,
nothing happens.
right. Yeah,
That's the problem with it.
because and you have to take one too. You have to take one in addition to the one that you check to make the power happen. Yeah, thus it's so confusing. If both checks are failed, nothing happens. Basically, but if you pass and they don't, or if you pass and they pass, they get prone and pinned and lose their ready marker.
Yeah. So it's very similar to the previous power. They were very in line with me. The prone and pinned was the thing that changed it. Because basically, they have to take a test. There's no minus with it, unfortunately. But they have to take a test, and they lose their ready marker if they fail. Which is very strong.
This is basically a 12-inch range photon flash grenade.
Basically.
I like photon flashes better.
Yes.
They're really cheap, and they're 5 inches. But that depends on what you're fighting, because if you're fighting initiative, you will never get them to fail.
Yeah, if you're fighting Escher.
If you're fighting Escher, you'll never get them to fail.
Right.
On the flip side, if you're fighting dwarves,
Yeah. So these two were very close for me.
Yeah, I liked the Mind Control a little bit better than
fair.
Assault. But Assault is very good. And then our number 1, and probably, for my money, the single most powerful psychic power in the game.
Hallucinations.
What does hallucinations do?
Target an enemy within... What's the range on it? Just let me know.
Oh, I don't know. It's only 12 inches, non-visible.
Target an enemy, they become insane.
That's it.
They don't take a test.
There's no test. You don't have to be able to see them.
I wrote 10, please nerf.
Yeah,
It is the only note that I put in this whole thing.
This is the overseer of the scale of the.
Yes.
The problem with this one is that insane is one of the most debilitating conditions in the entire game.
Yep.
Because unless you roll a 6, you don't get to keep control of your character.
Yep.
Making an opponent go insane with no check on their part without requiring visibility is like
Something
if you
about
don't
that.
pick this power, you are picking you are making a quote-unquote bad choice. Now, this is Necromunda.
Yeah.
So that is, you're playing this discipline, you didn't pick that power.
Right.
That's not why you're playing them. Hallucinations is good. It's too good.
Yeah, it is too good. It needs a range nerf, needs to have line of sight, needs to have an enemy check, something.
Something. Maybe not all those things.
Yeah.
But 12 inches is a long way in Necromunda.
Yeah.
And 12 inches for you're insane. Because you can't clear the insane condition either.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
It's like a cursed weapon, but there's no willpower check. The fact that your opponent doesn't have to make a willpower check does not make sense to me.
I agree.
We actually house ruled this, that the only thing we changed is that your opponent has to make a willpower check.
Yep.
If they fail that willpower check, they go insane. If they don't, nothing happens.
It basically is a cursed weapon.
Oh, by the way, it's a basic action.
Not a double.
Not
You
a
just
double.
Walk up and do it.
Not a simple, so
Not a simple.
you can't do
you
it
can't
twice.
just do it twice. Ugh.
But it's a basic action.
Yeah.
So you could shoot someone and then go and have them to go,
Sure.
or move up and
Yeah.
go insane.
Move and then do it.
So really, it's a 17-inch range.
It's gross.
It's disgusting. It's the best power in the game. I hate it.
I can agree with that. It is like I said, the only one I put any notes on, and it was please nerf this power.
And yet, somehow, telepathy is not your number one discipline.
That is true.
Your number one discipline is divination.
That is true.
Wrong.
It had the highest. I was doing this on averages. I did a score for every power, and I averaged the powers, and divination was the highest.
I mean, I guess.
It doesn't have the single best power. It has a lot of good powers.
With the exception of telekinesis, there is a discipline I would take. There is a power I would take from every other discipline before divination.
Well, yeah, but that's not the question here. That's
Yes,
not,
it is.
It's not.
Fundamental disagreements on miniatures rundown. Anyway, so you said that divination is the best school.
Yes.
Okay, what is the worst of the best?
Well, we have to talk about the ability.
You get to force your opponent to reroll 1 dice during your activation.
No. It's not force an opponent. It is,
Sorry. You get to reroll 1 dice made during your activation per game.
and it can be your opponent's dice.
It can be opponent's dice, so you can make them reroll save roll, or a willpower check,
Or a reaction attack.
or a reaction attack, or a moving away thing. or,
I ranked that ability very high because rerolls are so rare in Necromundown.
They are. Maybe I'm just bitter because when I tried on you, just rolled another 6.
Well,
so.
yeah. Because I'm awesome.
All right. So what's your worst power?
The worst power I have is forewarning.
Just wrongs across the board. Everything here is just wrong.
No,
wrong,
it's
wrong,
still
wrong,
decent.
Wrong. No, it's not. I mean, it is, but it's better than the worst one. So what forewarning does, not foreboding, there's 2 of these. Forewarning is a basic action. Until the end phase of this round, the first time this fighter is hit on a 2-up, the hit's ignored.
Yes,
It's preemptive. It costs an action,
it does.
but it gives you a 2-up ignore hit.
Yeah.
I don't think it's great at all,
No.
which is why I think this is a bad discipline. But,
You put it at number 3.
yeah, because I think the other ones suck.
Anyway, it's not great, but it has its uses.
Yes.
The ability to ignore anything on a 2-up is nuts.
Yes.
But it is the first thing. It's basically like having the Psychic Familiar or the Chaos Familiar just whenever you want.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
But it's not great.
What was your number 5?
Misfortune.
Misfortune. That was my last one, number 6. Misfortune is, let me see, basic action. At any point prior to the end phase of this round, this fighter may force one enemy fighter that's currently within both 12 inches and line of sight of this fighter to reroll a single dice roll.
Yeah. That one's fine. You can put it on
I think it's worse than forewarning, because forewarning works against any range. This one only works against somebody within 12 inches and only on 1 dice and only this phase. So you have to cast, and it's not continuous, and it's only till the end of the phase. So that means that guy has to go early, which means no flexibility. He has to waste an action on this. Your opponent has to be within 12 inches and attack that enemy. Or do something with that enemy.
So you're saying, so you liked time stop where you had to be within 12 inches of your opponent.
Because if
not continuous.
Because if you pulled it off, the effects were great. This one just makes them reroll 1 dice.
So I like it because if your opponent's coming at you with a champion or a leader that will mess you up, it helps. I'm not saying it's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not useless, but it's... so many things have to...
That's not even true.
So many things have to happen for it to be helpful.
Yeah.
Not good, helpful.
I fail to see the problem here.
If this was a continuous effect, I think it would be great. But the fact that it only is until the end of the round, which means you have to go before them.
I fail to see the problem here.
I always hate when it's like, oh, I have to go early with this, because that is so easily disrupted. Or telegraphed.
If it's your only power, sure.
Yes.
If it's your only power, it's bad.
And I think maybe that might be a difference between us, because I'm looking at a lot of these as it being your only power.
Oh, I'm not.
Because it's so expensive to get another one.
It's not really.
9 experience points is not nothing.
It's not nothing, but it's
Or rather,
not expensive.
the opportunity cost is great.
No, it's not. Disagree.
You can get a toughness for 8.
Yeah, so?
That's +1 toughness, man. That's great.
No. The thing is, it's instead of a skill.
Yes.
And I would think that these are in line with skills.
That one's not.
I think it is.
Okay, that's fair. That's because both skills are bad.
It's just Josh ragging on me.
Yes. Agree to disagree. What is your number 4?
Precognition.
Yeah, that was my worst one besides Misfortune. Precognition. This is a special one, which means you don't even have to cast it.
Yeah.
Which has its own benefit, by the way.
It does.
If this fighter is a part of a gang during the determined scenario step of the pre-battle sequence, which means as long as you're alive, you don't even have to be part of the crew yet, the gang may choose a scenario rather than rolling randomly, and you can choose you are automatically the attacker.
Yep.
That is the reason I've only ranked that at my number 4. My number 5 is because when it's good, it's absolutely astoundingly amazing, and then sometimes it will just be useless, completely.
It is never completely useless.
There are some missions where it would be.
Why? But no. It says you get to pick the mission.
Right.
Which means you don't pick the mission where it's useless.
Sometimes you don't want to pick the mission because you're bad at picking missions, like me.
That's your fault.
No, I just think that, because you could have randomly rolled for that mission anyway. You don't know if it's useless or not because, oh god, this is the whole meta thing on prophecy, right? If you have the prophecy, did you make the prophecy happen? Or did you only prophesize the thing that was going to happen anyway, whether or not you had the prophecy? There are some campaigns where this is, the best thing you could possibly take. Some situations where this is the best thing you could possibly take, and there are some situations where almost any other power on the list would have been better. So that's why, for me, it ends up middle.
It's also my middle. It's my number 4.
Yeah. No, this is not a bad power. It's just, this might be, of all the powers on the list, except for maybe the freaking Unlock a Door one, the most niche but powerful within its niche.
Sure. It's similar to, the Delok thing.
Yes.
Where you get to,
but
if I want to, I'm the attacker.
It's just not nudging, it's just picking.
Yeah.
And there are some times when that's going to be so this doesn't just let you win the game, it lets you pick the game.
That's what I think is insane. And you don't have to, it's just a passive that your guy has.
But there are some times when that's not going to matter as much as having a better power on the field would.
Think of that as a skill.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
If that was just a skill, it would be nuts.
It is just a skill. You don't have to roll for it.
I know, but you're saying because it's a power, it's worse.
No, again, opportunity cost. I'm saying that, and maybe because I'm thinking of who can get this and in what situations they would use, because a lot of gangs don't have access to Psykers. It's if you are playing a gang and you can get access to this skill, there are times in Necromunda, and this is just Necromunda, it doesn't matter what mission you rolled, you're going to get on the field and get your butt handed to you.
Sure.
And having the ability to bring more guys or something like that with war poisons or remove cover would have helped you more, regardless of the mission.
You are correct.
I think that's where I'm coming from, and I guess I rate that less highly than.
So you are rating that there are other powers that are better in this discipline.
Yes.
Yes, that's why it's not my number 1.
Yes.
Then shut up.
No, I don't. I don't know why we're arguing. We're on the same page.
Why would we? Okay, so if that were the case, why would we pick anything but the best one?
Excellent question. Thank you for watching this episode.
Comment below if Josh is wrong.
Comment below if Mitchell's wrong for thinking that divination is better than telepathy.
Telepathy's stupid. I don't like telepathy. Anyway.
What, you rated it as your second best.
It's, shut up. Anyway.
So, yeah, fat middle power. There are times when it will
it's
make,
fine.
and there are times when it will be fine. What is your number 3?
I have to look. Visions?
Really? Visions was my favorite of the powers.
Really?
Although it was kind of close.
I have 3 ties. I have a 3-way tie.
Oh, okay.
Is the problem. I had Warp, Whispers, and Visions next.
Yeah, and I could absolutely see that. So let's do Visions. Visions is a double, but it's a continuous. Everybody within 18 inches of this fighter. So a 36-inch bubble just has -1 cover.
Every enemy.
Every enemy, sorry.
Not everybody, unlike all of the other giant auras.
bubble powers. It's infosights for your entire gang.
Within what that's a 36-inch.
That's why this was my number 1.
Bubble. I agree.
Yeah, like it's really fun.
But there are things to get there are things that you can get that are basically the same thing.
You could just put infosights in everybody.
Yeah.
This loses viability later. Although I mean, it does also stack with infosight.
It does stack,
which is really fun too.
Very strong.
But also, like if you're playing mostly melee, who cares?
Yeah. So I will tell you. So I had a 3-way tie at 8 because again I did a number score for all these, and then the highest one I ranked was 9.
Okay.
So like it's very close.
Yeah, I see that. That's absolutely. Huh? See. This is very good. Like that's very good.
Yeah, it's really strong.
Again, doesn't require you actually see those folks, does it? Nope. All enemy fighters within 18 inches of this fighter that are in full cover count as being impartial. And if you're impartial, you're out in the open.
Yep.
If you're playing some kind of shooting gang, that's brutal.
That's insane.
That's real brutal. So, very good. What's your next one up?
My next one up was then Warp Whispers.
Warp Whispers. Warp Whispers is the other super special one. It's the one I have on my divination guy.
You just didn't take the best one in the whole tree?
Nope, I took one better than
Precognition.
Precognition. This one lets you always increase your crew size by 1, and can reroll any rolls for reinforcements. And if you're playing sentries, if you move within 6 inches, the alarm is automatically raised. That part's the least useful, but increasing your crew size by 1 always is real good.
Very strong.
And rerolling reinforcements is real good.
Yeah, getting extra guys on the board can change the game.
Yeah.
Like completely swing a game.
Oh my God, get this on Condor.
Yeah.
Even more guys on the board. Even more guys on the board.
I have to look up how to get Cotter Psykers. I don't know if I can do that.
It's got to be.
It's got to be a way.
We have the technology. And then last but not least, your bestest power.
My best is Foreboding.
I ranked Foreboding slightly lower than Visions. Foreboding is a double continuous.
Double continue.
That's my Tinder name. So I don't know what that means. While this power is maintained, the fighter may either gain the Overwatch skill or give the Overwatch skill to a single friendly within 12-inch line of sight.
Let's just give the single best skill in the game to anyone or myself.
Yeah. Now, I think the reason I rated this slightly lower than Visions is because it only affects one guy.
It does only affect one guy.
Whereas Vision helps your entire team a little bit less, I guess.
That's true.
But Overwatch is very good. Overwatch is stupid good. Overwatch is arguably, I'm not going to say overpowered because it does require you to lose your ready marker.
Yes.
The fact that this is continuous, though, means that you cast it and then you just hang around 12 inches.
Well, you don't need to be within 12 inches to upkeep it.
It's while this power is maintained.
So that's similar to Firewall. You just walk away from it.
Okay, yeah. Well, but you have to maintain to give them the power. So if you walk away from it, then they're no longer within 12 inches, so they would no longer have it, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, because it says while it's maintained, someone within 12 inches in line of sight.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, your target does have to
maintain someone within 12.
Your target does have to be within 12 inches line of sight. I don't think you would ever take this on yourself because you could just take Overwatch?
That depends, because some people don't have access to that.
That's what I was about to say. If you can't get shooting,
It's not shooting.
or cunning.
Cunning.
Sorry. If you don't get cunning, you just give this to yourself.
Yeah.
If you can get cunning, maybe this is probably useless.
Yeah. It's depending on what your Psyker can take.
Yep.
But being able to give it to somebody else, I think is very good.
Who maybe only has shooting and doesn't have cutting.
Yeah.
So maybe like they have shooting and a las cannon. You know, they're hitting on twos, and you're just like, you have Overwatch now.
Exactly.
And you know,
So yeah, I think that's very good.
lose friends and don't influence people.
It's still not better than Hallucinations Please Nerf.
No, I don't think this needs a nerf because it is a double and requires continuous and
Yeah.
requires line of sight and requires 12 inches and.
Yeah, it has a lot of stipulations, but
It's
it is
Overwatch with extra steps.
yes.
The nice thing is that you can use it to kind of combine or hedge your bets.
It's also rather than this guy with his heavy bolter.
Everybody within 12 inches could have Overwatch.
Yeah.
Who's it gonna be? You get to pick when you want to.
Yeah.
Like that's why I think it has to be somebody within 12 inches because you can choose at any time.
Yeah.
It just says while the power is maintained.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Like you just have your guy in the middle of 4 different guys.
It's like that guy has Overwatch now.
Who's got Overwatch? Wouldn't you like to know? The guy who goes last. That's who.
I do love the thought of against a melee gang, you give Overwatch to a flamer.
Yeah. Who wouldn't normally have it?
Yeah.
And maybe he dies. Maybe
Yeah.
that.
You're just like, whoop, pass
maybe
somebody
he.
else.
Yep. Oh, now it's contagious Overwatch.
It's contagious Overwatch. It's Overwatch with the flu.
Yeah. I still like Visions a little bit better,
Visions, like I said, was very close.
but this is still very good.
Yep.
And that's it. I understand your logic of rating Divination highly because it has 3 or 4 really banger skills.
Yeah.
I just think Telepathy also has 3 or 4 really banger skills.
Yes.
Which
I mean,
Telepathy was your number 2.
It was my number 2.
Telepathy also does have a really useless skill.
Yeah.
Just a
Again,
really
I was
bad one.
doing averages, and when you have a absolute dog water one, it brings it down.
Spiders George was,
Yeah.
should not have been counted. So that's our ranking.
Yep.
It is objectively correct. You're wrong. Never mind how we don't agree.
Yep.
We're right. You're wrong. That's what matters, right?
I want you in the comments to post
Your ranking.
your ranking of all of the skills in all of the disciplines.
MLA format. Sources cited. Your homework is due tomorrow.
Wow.
Should have started earlier. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, so I will say that with the exception of I don't know, 3 skills that
Yeah.
are actually bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, 3, I've got ahead of myself. With the exception of 3 powers that are actually bad, there are far fewer bad powers than there are bad skills.
Oh, I agree.
There are way more skills that suck.
Well,
than
which is how
these.
it should be, because
Exactly.
the Psykers are way rarer.
You can have fun with almost all of these.
Yeah.
It's worth noting that you and I are both playing Psykers.
We are. Sorry, you said we could have fun, and I'm just imagining someone just opening and closing a door continuously.
In the right situation, yes, that would be fun. If your opponent ran up to a door and every time they opened it, you just kept closing it. Hitting someone with weapon jinx and then making them run to an ammo crate that explodes is now an achievement
God.
that if you pull it off in my campaign, I'm 3D printing you a medal.
Okay. I was going to say that's a magical Christmas land, and it is. I'll take a medal for
It's
it.
really funny.
It is.
It's worth noting that you and I are both playing Psykers, and neither of us are taking any of the things that we called top tier.
No, because we want to have fun.
Right. Well, I mean, you can have fun with the top tier stuff too. I don't want to say you can't.
Yeah.
Hallucinations is the only one here that I would heavily suggest you talk with your group and your arbitrator about.
Agreed.
Having one person running around with hallucinations making everybody else insane with no recourse. Now, there is a way to gain immunity to insanity.
Yeah.
You can do that. It's a
Hell, chaos as a whole is just immune to insane.
Yeah, by the way, that's your counter to that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
It's like, I'll just be chaos now.
that's really funny. That's my secret captain. I'm already insane. Oh, there's a hallucination. Yeah, it's right next to the other 4 hallucinations I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
That's the only one I would say that you need to talk with your arbitrator about. And obviously, as with everything in Necromunda, there's combos here you could break the game with.
Yeah.
Got to be careful with those. But most of the things that are really powerful here are also have really bad drawbacks.
Yes.
I think it's interesting that we had a lot of discussion on this, and it's not just with the exception of Telekinesis.
Yeah.
And
there's
the ranking of the Pyro skills.
Yeah, we're right on the money with that one.
It's also worth mentioning that Pyro is dead in the middle of our lists, and it's the one that is just the most,
Yeah.
It's the fire.
It do fire.
Yeah, it do fire. It do fire pretty good. Yeah. Although Molten Bolt's really funny.
Molten Bolt is funny. Melee range. Think.
Mind melting somebody at point blank range.
Gotta be very good.
It's basically Shoryuken.
Yeah, it's true. I was gonna say the
Or no, Hadouken.
if you the Days of Future Past, did you see that?
It's been a while, but yeah.
So the whole thing with the enemy is he can take power, he can take energy and
absorb it,
absorb it, and he basically just like puts a nuke into a mutant and they just die.
Yeah.
They just like melts them.
They just explode.
Just like, well, you have a ball of sun in you now. Sorry.
He still shouldn't have been able to kill Darwin.
No, he shouldn't. That's who I'm talking about. That's real sad.
That's anyway. So that's our ranking. Let us know below if you think we're super off the mark. If you listened this long,
yeah, you're crazy.
if you listened this long, thanks for hanging around.
I wouldn't even listen this long.
Feel free to split this one into a few watches. This is just our loose advice. Obviously, there are combos and things in here we didn't talk about that you could do and could use. We haven't discovered all of them yet.
Sure.
I'm playing a Technomancer who has a plasma gun and the overcharge skill because I think that's just fun.
It is.
Because rapid fire with strength 7, damage 3 is disgusting.
It is.
But not as disgusting as Weapon Jinx. I'll get that later for her.
No, it's not as disgusting as hallucinations.
Well, I didn't pick that.
That's true. Maybe I'll just pick it next time.
If you
we'll see.
murder my Divination guy with extreme prejudice, I'll pick that out of revenge.
All right, we'll see.
It's been the next few years making you go insane. Speaking of making us go insane, let us know below if you liked what you saw, and we'll see you next time. Not sure what we're doing, but we'll let you know.
Bye.